Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, if I could choose only one work by composer X, it would have to be work O. I don't think we've done an O. So composer X is Steve Reich, and work O has got to be music for 18 musicians. Yeah. Ooh, that's so cool. Music for 18 Musicians was kind of a seminal work. It appeared in like 1976, I think, the mid-70s. I remember it so well. Oh my goodness. It was one of the first times I'd heard of ECM, the label, one of their first releases, I think, or one of the first releases that really made a huge splash. And I was in college. And let's see, was there a class of 79? Yeah, 76. And so I was almost in college. I was in high school. Yeah, I graduated high school in 79, then went to college. Okay, there we go. And it was really like a big deal at the radio station, WJHU, when I got to college. Minimalism had crossed over into the sort of progressive rock, weird music category, with like Brian Eno and Throbbing Gristle and all those other fabulous groups. It was really kind of an amazing thing. It was an exciting time in music. And, I look at the comments here and I see a lot of you cranky old altacockers, dissing minimalist music. And especially, composers we could do without Philip Glass. Everyone goes, Philip Glass. I don't get it. I think these guys are brilliant composers. I really do. You may not like the style. You may not like the aesthetic, but they revitalized classical music. They brought in a whole new audience for it. I mean, they did wonderful, wonderful things. And minimalism itself, of course, began with its kind of primal roots, Terry Riley's In C and Philip Glass's music in 12 parts and things like that. And it's blossomed into an aesthetic which admits of a very wide range of expressive choices. And Steve Reich is one of the guys who's been there for the whole ride. I mean, the whole time. Music for 18 Musicians is fabulous for just that reason, because it tends to, it has a lot more harmonic interest than some of the earlier minimalist pieces. And it's rather sophisticated, and some people, drives them crazy, but, who gives a damn if it drives some people crazy? I mean, that's their problem, right? It's not mine. Yeah, right. And I think that as an exemplar of the potentialities of minimalism, it's an ideal work to present to the evil god Cancrozans and say to him, look, yes, this is typical Steve Reich, it's typical minimalism in a way, but the movement itself is so much bigger than this and has so much potential. And this work hints at a lot of that potential and realizes a lot of that potential. In case you're curious, the 18 musicians, and it really shouldn't be performed by 18 musicians, by the way. You can perform it with 18 musicians, but you really need more. But this is what it's written for. I have it here because it's a fascinating ensemble. And you have violin, cello, 3 female voices, 2 pianos that do just that, just play the piano. Then you've got piano and maracas, that's number 8. Then a marimba and maracas. And then a marimba and a xylophone twice, 3 times. That gets us up to number 12, marimba and xylophone. Then you get metallophone and piano. A metallophone is just a vibraphone that doesn't vibra. You just turn it off and you use it almost, it's basically like a xylophone thing. That's a metallophone. And then another piano and marimba player. You see, you have all these doublings. So if you have some extra people, it's actually kind of handy to have individual people on some of these other instruments. Let's see, piano, marimba, xylophone, and piano. And then clarinet and bass clarinet twice. I love the bass clarinet in here. It's a pulse piece. The idea is you take a note and you pulse it as long as you can hold your breath. So it's really cool. And then female voice and piano. So that's your 18 musicians. And you can expand that based on, the number of people you actually have and how you can spread the parts out a little bit. But it's absolutely marvelous. It's based on a sequence of 11 chords that are developed. I mean, it has development. Things happen in it, but under this steady pulsed rhythm. And I think it's mesmerizing. I really do. A glorious piece of music. And I really would suggest that for those of you who are like down on minimalism, if you don't know music for 18 musicians, you should really hear it. I mean, because it is a masterpiece of the genre. And if, the genre never does it for you, that's okay. And maybe Cancrozans will say, just for that, I'm going to preserve all of minimalism so that that's all you have to listen to. He's not going to do that. But we can enjoy Steve Reich, who's a wonderful, thoughtful composer who's written just sensational music. And this is, one of the major defining masterpieces of an era. It really is. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.